The Friday Morning Rant contains adult language, adult humor, satire humor, adult subjects. Pretty much anything that isn't PC is probably going to end up on the show eventually. So if you can't handle that, then piss off, Jack. You have the wrong show. It's the Friday Morning Rant with Shanehalfyard. Yes, it's been a while. Life has been keeping me busy. It is Friday, June 12th. And if you're hearing the sirens out there, I apologize. Something's going on. I don't live in the best neighborhood area. Let me give you an example, right? Right across from me, right? I rent a house. The rent isn't bad. Rent is $900 a month, especially because then it's a 6-bedroom home, and it's downtown, so the rent's not bad. The heat, though, is the heat and power, one motherfucker of a bill, okay? Because this house is, well over 100 years old, and the insulation practices there weren't all that great. So I'll give you an example. One month during the winter, our power bill was close to $900. So, yeah, that's insane. We're saving to get out of here, but it's kind of hard when your bills are this high. But another example is next door who's owned by the same fella, is like the shittiest setup I've ever seen. All right, like it is ridiculous. He has a bunch of multiple little apartments in there. I mean, our house isn't great. Okay, we rent a whole house for $900, and it isn't great looking. And I'll be the first to admit that, especially the outside. The inside's not bad because my wife's really good at keeping the place neat and tidy, and she decorated it. And we did the best we could. So, but over there, oh my god, the outside is just garbage. And I've been to inside a couple of the apartments, and they're just shit. Okay, now this isn't me. I'm not putting down some of the people over there. For example, one night when my wife went to the Philippines for Christmas a couple years ago, okay? She went there for Christmas and then also to pick up, our son, Ken, and bring him home, right? Bring him here to Canada. So she was gone from mid-November till the first week of January. So she was gone about 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Now, my son and my roommate, the strange man that lives in the basement, he doesn't live in the basement. He just lives in my house. I just like to say in the basement. I don't know why. Anyway, the strange man who lives in my house and my son have the same shift at the same job, which is the same job I work at. They work the night shift from 10 o'clock at night till 6:30 in the morning. Now, they wanted to borrow my keys because they didn't have their keys. They couldn't find them, whatever. So I said, okay, but make sure you leave the door unlocked. And they did not. They didn't do it. So I get home, and already the person who drops me off left. Right? She's gone. So the door's locked. Can't get in. Can't be done. Can't do it. So I'm like, motherfucker. So then I want to talk to my landlord, because usually a good landlord has a copy of your keys, right? For emergencies and to let people in, whatever, right? A good landlord has a good copy of your keys. So I knock on this elderly woman's door. Now, keep in mind, this is now 10:30 at night. There is a huge snowstorm going on. Okay, it is snowing like crazy. I have a long black winter coat that looks like it adds like 100 pounds to me. Like it looks like I'm 100 pounds heavier than I am. I'm already 6 feet and 300 and change, and then this hulking form is standing right in front of the door in the dark. So I go, wait a minute, I don't want to stand right in front of the door. So after I knock, I take a couple steps down and give her space. So she opens up the door and she goes, yes. And I said, look, I'm sorry for the lateness of the hour, but may I use your phone to call the landlord and ask them if they have to come over and unlock the door? So she obliges me. Very wonderful person, right? I get in there. Now, her apartment, it's not dirty. She keeps it clean. But it is just a tiny little shithole, right? Now, this has nothing to do with her. This is lack of maintenance from our landlord, right? She has kept the place spotless. There's no dirt anywhere. She has multiple cats, but you can't even smell the cats in the air, which just means she keeps up with the litter box. So she knows what she's doing. Like she's a clean person. So anyway, we call the landlord. They don't have a key. It's the only fucking landlord I ever had. They never had a key to my place, right? So then I have to take a cab back to my work, get the keys, because they ain't coming home for 8 hours. And I can't sit outside for 8 hours waiting for them. Get my keys, go back home, unlock the door, close the door. So, in short, it cost me $20 to get into my house. But that is one of the good people that lives across the street from me, or across the driveway from me. Then we've got drug dealers, and we've got this lady of the night, and this is not a good area to live in. But it's what we could afford. So this is where we're at, right? So I hope everybody is staying safe during this time and pandemic period. I personally think people are overreacting. And I was kind of getting annoyed with that. I was watching people walk around with masks and gloves and afraid of everything. Because those masks aren't going to do a whole lot, people. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you can breathe in through this cloth mask comfortably, you're breathing in germs. It's not an issue. You're doing it. But it will stop if you sneeze or when you're talking, your spittle particles come out. That'll help spread a little bit. I'm just talking about just breathing wise. Right? People are so scared of this COVID-19. They're terrified of the coronavirus. The coronavirus hasn't even killed more people than the flu has this year. Okay? The flu is way more deadlier. But people are afraid of it. Now, the symptoms of the coronavirus are apparently more brutal than the flu. But the flu has killed more people. Way more people. In fact, I guarantee you, if you had a friend who had the flu right now, most of you would still go and see how they're doing and sit with them and talk to them and go, yeah, no problem. It's just the flu. Because we've gotten used to the flu. The flu has become something where, it's been around 100 years and change. We're fine with it. Right? The Spanish flu in 1918 killed 17 million people. The coronavirus did not even scratch the surface when it comes to that. Now, one could argue that it's because we're doing all these precautions, and that might be part of the case. But, like I said, I think people are overreacting. It was bothering me, and I don't know why it was bothering me. I'm watching these people wearing these masks, and I'm like, man, this is fucking stupid. But then, because I eventually get there, I'm like, it's making them feel safe. Why is this bothering me? It's making them feel safe to wear the masks and the gloves at all times. It's making them feel safe to do the social distancing and stuff like that. Now, I respect the laws and the rules. They want social distancing. I'll do it. They want us to, wipe down our groceries. I'll do it. But I mainly do it because my family, the wiping down the groceries things, I probably wouldn't bother. It was just me living on my own. But, like I said, I think it's blowing up a bit. I'm not saying I want people to get the coronavirus. I'm not saying go out there if you know someone's really sick and give them a hug. I'm just saying calm down, relax. We're gonna get through it. We're in phase 2 right now. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. So that's my rant about that. So it's been a while, and I have my friend Vance. He's one of the few people that actually asks the questions and stuff. And this question basically is it racism? Yeah. That's his question. So, I'm going to read the question. Hold on here. Okay. Hey Shane, I got a question for you. If I were a bad person and I decided to mistreat a group of people, let's say poor people, and that group of people in my local area just happen to be black, is it racism? Does racism require intent or the intent of the I can't read. Does race require intent of the person who's doing it, or does it result in mistreatment of a group? Well, once I finally got it out there, I swear to God, I went to school, folks. Of a group of poor people? No. There is a term for someone who has great disgust and fear of poor people, and that is called a porophobia. Okay, and that means that you're deeply afraid or mistrust or mistreat the poor. But it also could be, when someone who's it could be like they hate the lower class, like from a classism, a type of socialism. But no, it's not about race then. It isn't about race to mistreat the poor, right? You're mistreating the poor because you don't like the poor. Now, why do people have these misconceptions about the poor? Well, we have them about all groups of people. That isn't us. Let's get that straight right now, all right? We, as a race, we tend not to like things that are different from us, okay? It takes a lot of work and a lot of teaching and self-discipline to get past that. But we have it, okay? We have it. It's in us, all right? Somewhere along the lines it is learned, all right? You take a group of babies, you put a group of babies in there, you all the colors in the rainbow, and they're getting along just fine. You take a group of kids, though, say grade 2, and you put them in the same room with a bunch of kids that are slightly different, and they'll start to pair off in groups, right? That's what we do as people, all right? I know this because I was one of the people that was different. Right? I was born legally blind. I had thick glasses back then. And of course, the kids saw me as different and decided that this is easy prey. So they would try to pick on me, and that's why I end up in fighting every other day of the damn school year. Because you see, they thought I was that stereotypical nerd that was shown on cartoons in the 80s. Where the kids could beat up this nerd and they were always afraid because they have thick glasses and they're super smart. Well, I wasn't super smart. Let's get that up. Right? I was dumb as a post, but, I had a mean right hook and I had no problem kicking kids in the nuts. So, so the whole physical bullying, eventually it died down. After all of us went to the principal office multiple times with shiners and bloody noses and but I was part of that group where they made fun of that person who was different. Okay, so we do that, right? There was a study in the UK in 2006 where they took a large group of people, showed them images of the poor. They were still nice looking people, presentable, but they were poor, clearly poor, and 2/3 admitted that they were disgusted with that group of people, right? And it baffled the scientists and the people and the psychologists. They're like, why is this? Why does this happen? Well, like I said, these stereotypes exist, right? We have the stereotypical type of the multimillionaire or the billionaire being cold, but intelligent and doesn't have a warm heart, okay? That's what we have, okay? And then we have the stereotypical poor. It's usually like poor white trash or angry black people who are poor or what are the stereotypes is like the Mexicans who are poor. They're always having a reason to party, right? So, those stereotypes exist, and they exist for a reason, because somewhere along the lines there were cold and calculating rich people, and there are poor people who do not plan ahead, who do not work hard, who do not strive to achieve their goals. They exist. Look, I know a guy. He was a martial arts student of mine for years, and he's dirt poor, and he's talented. He could do something with his life. He does nothing because he's lazy, and he wants the world to flop into his lap and give him what he feels he's owed. Okay? And then I know another guy who has quite a bit of money, and he's not stingy, but he's careful. Okay? And he's careful because he feels that the whole world's going to try to take advantage of him. Right? So there's those people. Those type of people exist. Are they the majority? No. But like I said, there's a reason why these stereotypes exist. There's a reason why they exist, and that's why they are used on like TV. I.e., we love Mr. Burns. He's the cold-hearted monster who's a billionaire, who is just awful. But we love watching him, and we love watching him succeed, and we love watching him fail. And we love Cletus the slack-jawed yokel because he makes us laugh because he's poor, and he's funny, and he's stupid. And we love Kenny from South Park because he is poor, but not stupid. He's just poor. Right? So, to answer your question, no, that is not racism. It is not racism to hate a group of people because they're poor. Is it right? Of course not. People are people. People make the mistake that the poor are lazy and don't work hard and don't plan well ahead or not good with money. And that's not simply the case. Sometimes opportunities are just not there. And you can say, well, make the opportunities. Well, yeah, that's an easy thing to say. But you can jump through all the hoops and you can still get the door slammed in your face when you get to that point. Because they look at you and say, well, you're poor. See ya. Bye. And that's just how it is. Right? It sucks, and I would love for things to change, but that takes work. Right? And I think things are slowly changing. I think people are starting to realize that we're people. This whole thing going on down in the United States there, where that man was brutally killed, that was a shame, right, by a cop. Some people are saying that racism is worse now than ever, but no, that's not the case. That is not the case. Racism is not worse now than ever was. All right. Chris Rock said it best. Okay. In one of his comedy specials, he talked about the most racist person you're ever going to meet is an old black man, like a really old black man. And he said, "Oh yeah, you're talking about." You're like, "No way," because I know Willie. He's my doorman. He's a great guy. And Chris Rock goes, "No, man, Willie hates your guts." He said, because he knew what real racism was. He goes, it's not talking about I can't get a cab or maybe this guy might not hire me. He's talking about how about when Willie was the cab and he just hopped on him and just rode him, run, you know. And it was very hilarious, but he had a point, right? Racism is still here, and it's probably never really going to go away, but it isn't as bad as it was, you know, a long time ago. One of the reasons why I feel that racism isn't going to go anywhere is because we're still singling out groups. Although we are trying to single out groups in a positive way, we are still singling them out. Right? Like, for example, we have these things called hate crimes, right? So, you know, if a white man kills a white guy, he might go to jail, say, for 5 to 10 years, right? But if that same white guy killed a black fella, then he might get to go to jail for 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20 years, because they're considered a hate crime. Well, a crime is a crime, all right? It doesn't matter the motivations behind it. When you commit murder, you're committing a murder, so the punishment should be the same. But because they're singling out these hate crimes, of course, it's singling out that group of people, that race of people. I don't even like using race of people because it's not like they're a bunch of ducks, but we'll use it for this purpose, okay? And you know, again, that South Park episode, that when I saw that episode, when they talked about that crime, I was in university, and I was just like, holy hell, and that just blew my mind. And then I started looking into it, and they're right, 100% right. It should not be the difference. Murder is murder, stealing is stealing, rape is rape. It should all be categorized as one. Like now, as like if you kill someone, if a white guy gets 10 years for killing a white guy, he should only get 10 years for killing a black guy, and vice versa, and all that stuff. So that should be the way it is, right? And then one of the things is these hashtags, like Black Lives Matter. Right? That is another thing that's singling out a group. Okay? Now, I do not believe that is a helpful thing. right? Some people are going to go, Shane, you suck, you suck, you suck, suck, suck. And fine, leave it in the comments, bring it on, bitch, we'll have her out. But I do not believe that hashtags like Black Lives Matter or Natives Lives Matter or, stuff like that. And I'm a native, okay? Right? I'm a native. Right? I'm Maliseet. Well, they're going to say I'm something else now, but I grew up calling myself Maliseet. I'm Maliseet. Sorry, guys. It's going to take me a while to even pronounce that goddamn word. But I don't believe in those type of, being singled out, right? I don't believe in that at all. I believe that everyone should be accepted for who they are and be accepted as human beings, not, Black Lives Matter or what's another one? The LGBTQ community is flipping out all the time about people not accepting them for who they are and blah, blah, blah. Well, acceptance, yes, acceptance is important, and I'm not saying that it isn't. I believe that transgender should be, given the same opportunities. But that being said, those same transgenders, if someone says, "Look, I don't agree with this. I'm not comfortable being around you," that person should be dragged out and pissed on. All right, they should be. The people should back up and say, "You're right. Okay, I'll let you be." It shouldn't be in everybody's faces that don't want it in their faces. Right? And then again, these are all just things that are my personal opinion. You're going to have your own, and I encourage you to talk to me about it. But again, Vance, to let you know, no, not liking a group of people because they are poor and mistreating poor people does not make you a racist. It just makes you an asshole. Anyway, that is my 2 cents for this week. Vance, you are in the draw for the end of the month for a $25 gift card of your choice. If you guys want to be in this draw, all you have to do is, 1, be a subscribe if you haven't already. 2, leave a comment down below or email me at shanehalfyard@hotmail.com with your questions. My contact information will be in the description below. Other than that, I hope you all are staying safe, healthy, and happy, and we'll get through all this together. Bye for now.